Hope Channel, changing lives.
Welcome to another exciting episode of Real Talk. You know, I don't know if you've realized, but whenever you tell a lie, there's always this need to continue telling lies to cover up the first lie that you ever told. And unfortunately, you become a liar because you tell lies and tell lies and tell lies just to save the situation that you first lied about. And we all lie, to be honest. We've lied about the meat that we claim we didn't eat. We've lied about the reason why we got to work late. We've all lied one way or the other. But I've realized that whenever you lie, especially in relationships, and specifically intimate relationships or something such as marriage, usually, more so than not, it ends up in a great scandal, which comes with embarrassment, which comes with difficulties, and if you're not lucky, you can lose your marriage. You know, lies, deceit, dishonesty, secrets are some of the things that can lead to a marriage breakdown. And today we have something around these, I don't know whether I should call them attributes that I've mentioned early on. And it's sad. It's sad because you think you're trying to save the marriage that you're going into, but unfortunately, all that you did ends up ruining the same thing that you're trying to save from the beginning. Welcome once again. We are in the studios of Hope TV Ghana. My name is Evie. As usual, I have some amazing guests with me who are going to help discuss the story. I'd like to remind you that we are live on Facebook and YouTube, Hope TV Ghana, Real Talk. Just stream live, join the conversation by leaving your comments under the comment sections, your agreements and the disagreements. And I will make sure that as we discuss the story, I read some of your comments so that we can all have a 360 conversation. You know, I want us to go into our story, but before then, let me just introduce you to my guests. In the studio with me is Mrs. Celestina Asiedu Owusu. She's not a stranger to the studio. She's been here before. Celestina, welcome once again.
Thank you very much, Evie.
You're so welcome. I hope your week has been good.
Yeah.
Yeah. This week has been good,
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't bad,
yeah,
right?
It wasn't bad.
Right.
Once we are alive, there is hope.
That's true. That's true. Thank you so much for coming once again.
Thanks for having me.
Joining me via Zoom, I have Elder Michael Yabua Danso. He is joining me all the way in Sunyani, if I'm not wrong. Elder, good evening.
Good evening, Evie.
How are you doing?
Oh, by God's grace, we are alive and kicking.
That's true. That's true. That's true. How is your end? How is everybody there? Have you guys been great? Accra, we are faring well. How are you guys doing?
Okay, Sunyani too has been very cool. As you know, Sunyani is a very cool town.
Yeah.
We've not heard of any bad news. The family is also doing great.
Yeah.
Workplace is also going on smoothly.
Yes.
So we thank God for how far He has brought us.
Indeed, we thank God for how far He has brought us. Thank you once again for joining us, and I can't wait for us to discuss today's story. The other person joining me is also via Zoom, and that is in the person of Mr. Samuel Osei. Mr. Samuel is joining us all the way from the state, Ohio, to be specific. Samuel, how are you doing? How is Ohio? How is the church? How is the family?
By God's grace, I'm doing well. I'm doing well. You know, the church is doing well. We just recently lifted our COVID mandates a little bit, so we're back meeting in person. So, you know, we're thankful for that we're healthy, that we're alive, that we're able to be able to get together and see one another face to face once again. So very grateful for all of that. I'm grateful that I'm able to join you all today.
I'm equally grateful you're able to join. And it's always a beautiful thing to join in person in the house of God. It brings the whole fellowship thing some meaning. And I'm glad you guys are able to go back in person and then worship together. Thank you once again for joining us. I want us to take a look at our story. You know, I told you it was a story that is sad. Someone trying to save their marriage by lying, and the lies are ruining her marriage. So she says, "Dear Real Talk, I have been struggling with something I recently found out about my wife. A, people are bad, oh. We've been married for less than a year. A period still considered as the honeymoon phase, but reality has snatched me from that phase. I just found out my wife already has 2 children in the village with her mother. I had no idea whatsoever of this. I overheard her asking about her kids on a phone conversation without her knowing I was using the bathroom while she was in the bedroom. The questions she was asking sounded like a concerned mother asking after her kids. She looked very startled and almost guilty when I stepped out of the bathroom. So I asked her which kids she was referring to, and she said, oh, her little cousins in the village. According to her, she calls them that because she feels like a mother to them since she's the one that takes care of them. She says, the man is saying, I left it like that, but my gut kept telling me something was not right. So I decided to investigate myself. Upon my several investigations, I found out and it was confirmed that she already has 2 children. I questioned her with my proof and she broke down crying, asking for forgiveness. My wife was very insistent on us not trying for a baby now because she wants us to enjoy our marriage before kids come in. Now I know that's not the sole reason. I even found out there's a likelihood she may not be able to conceive because of the complications from her last pregnancy. She is refusing to go to the hospital for examination. All she keeps doing is to bring people to plead and beg on her behalf. I can't believe she and her entire family lied to me like this. We courted for 3 good years and I had no idea. She always called them her little cousins. I want to leave her because I don't think I can forgive and live with her. She's a wicked person. What if she can't conceive again? I really want to have children. I am Christian and do not want to divorce, but I think this is beyond me now. Please, any help and advice will be very, very helpful. So we've all heard the story. This woman lied about not having kids. People she called cousins, and the man found out that she actually has kids and she may not be able to conceive, and they've been married for what? Just a year, or not even up to a year. And I have no idea what the man is going through. I can't imagine the space she's in now mentally, psychologically, all the least that she can think of. And hopefully we are able to come up with some solutions for this man. Celestina, you're a married woman, and I don't know, what is going on in your mind right now?
Okay, when I read the story, what came in mind at first was there is a broken trust.
Right.
Okay, so you enter into a relationship. From the story, they dated for 3 years.
Yes.
And then they've been married for less than a year.
Right.
That means she has known the lady close to 4 years.
Thank you.
And there was no sign of her having a baby, not just a baby, 2 children.
Yep.
You see, so I think the marriage was built with no transparency, and then it was built on falsehood.
Yeah.
I wanted to, if the lady was here, I would have asked her 2 questions. Would she have apologized, or would she have come clean if the guy didn't hear of the phone conversation?
Right.
And then what led to her having 2 children before her marriage? Because it's weird having 2 kids and then not informing or not telling the guy anything about the children.
Right.
I feel like she doesn't deserve to be called a mother, because you can't denounce your children because of a man or because of marriage. So what came in mind when I read the story was there will be no trust in this marriage again, and the marriage can never, even if it still holds, it can never be the same like it used to be.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting you say that, meaning they've known each other close to 4 years.
Yeah.
So then my question again is, they say we should investigate before we get married. Like, what sorts of investigations are we supposed to do? How do we find out certain things like this before we enter the situation?
Okay, you know, initially before our mothers and then our grandmothers got married, they kind of knew themselves. I know this family, I want my child to marry, my daughter or my son to marry from this family. And then because they were like in the same neighborhood and all those stuff, they knew a lot about their would-be in-laws. But now we go to church, we meet somebody, we date the person for 2 years, we take the person home, and then we even impose the person on our parents to accept them, even though they, you know, elders see a lot of things we don't see.
Very true.
So maybe they've seen something about their supposed spouse, and then they'll tell you this guy or this lady wouldn't help you, but because we are so much in love, we just ignore whatever they are telling us, and then we want to force them or encourage them to accept our spouses. I think of late, we don't do any investigation. We let the love lead, and then later when we want to do the investigations, because we are so much in love, we feel like, oh, I've seen this about this guy, but I think love conquers all.
Right.
But one thing we should know is, just like a character, someone once said, if a guy slaps you in a relationship, when you get married, he's going to beat you. It is going to be worse than the relationship. So I think we have to be very careful with our relationships and then investigations concerning the spouses we want to settle down with in future.
That's so well said. Thank you so much, Celestina. Samuel, I'm going to come to you. I'm going to obviously take your general take on the story. And then I would ask you, I know you were born in the States and all that, but this whole issue of investigations before marriage, I don't know how else the youth or parents can help us find out these hidden secrets that obviously blow up in our faces later on in the relationship. Like, what are some of the things we can possibly do to find out these things? How is it through marriage counseling? I don't know. Are we supposed to now be taking lie detector tests? It's so complicated right now. Please share your views on that with us.
Yeah, it's very interesting, and I think you know, the story itself, the first time I saw it and as I read it, I said, wow, you know, this is very deep. And at the same time, this is a real situation that happens in not just this scenario. You know, I've heard and I know that these things happen. Just to add a point of correction, I was actually born in Ghana. I came here when I was younger a bit, but I know that, you know, in this story, the things that stood out to me, I think Celestina mentioned, number one, that they known each other for close to 4 years, and there was no transparency. The lies that were told, for me, it went beyond just lying, but it was a deception, right? That, you know, to have children and not disclose that to someone that you're getting married to. You know, marriage is a lifelong commitment. It's a covenant. It's a permanent type of thing that we are getting into. We're becoming one with another person. So how can you become one with another person and not share something so important, so crucial as children? You know, I'm sure you love your children. How can you not share that? So I think that was something that really stuck out to me. And, you know, when you buy a car or you buy a house, you buy land, nobody likes to be deceived. No one wants to be lied to with those material possessions. How much more something such as marriage, which, you know, has permanent, eternal significance, and also is something that it's between a man and a woman, but it's also between God, where we're going in the presence of God to declare that we are going to form this covenant relationship. So these lies, it's not something that should ever be permitted. When it comes to the issue of investigation and being familiar with the family members, I think the way that it was done in the past, as was described, it was very easy in a community setting to know these things, and to make decisions based on these things, to get advice from parents and aunts and uncles and all of that. But our world is such that now, not just here in the US, but even in Ghana, we're becoming more individualistic. You know, we do our own thing. We want to go our own way. And now it's very, very difficult go through that. But you have to make sure that you ask the necessary questions to get as much information as you can from them. You know, if you don't go to the same church or you don't go to the same schools, from maybe people that you know in their schools or their churches, or family members that may be close or familiar with those individuals, because it's a universal world. Right now I'm in America and I'm communicating with you all, so it's very easy to communicate, meet people, and all of these things. But we have to go the extra step. We have to take the necessary precautions and make sure that we don't enter into marriage without complete knowledge of the things that are available for us to know. You know, he performed an investigation when he had suspicion, and he found out some things.
Right.
That should have been done beforehand as well, right? We shouldn't let the love that we have blind us to certain things, but we should be thorough, because again, marriage is a sacred, permanent thing that we shouldn't take lightly. So, you know, those are some of the comments that I have with regards to that.
Thank you so much, Samuel. I'm going to come to you, Michael, and I'll ask obviously for your take on the story. But my specific question to you will then be, what do you think are her reasons for not telling her husband before he found out? What was going through her mind? Why did she even think that it was a good deal, or it was a good thing not to tell this man that, oh, I already have kids, they are two, they are with my mother? What do you think was her thought process?
Ivy, let me go on my general take on the story. At first, when I heard the story, or when I read the story, wow, I said, wow, what a story. So can this happen to date someone for about 3 years, getting to 4 years, and you are not able to know that this person has babies or has children? It is somehow weird. And I think it all boils down to how we enter into dating and how we enter into marriage these days. In our modern world, people enter into dating, just meet someone on Facebook, I'm interested in you, they move ahead without doing any background check on the person. And for instance, if someone or if a lady sees that a man is interested in him or her, or is interested in him or her, the person may hide something that, of which, if you are not careful, you will not be able to know. So all these things are things we need to consider when we want to enter into marriage. So considering their investigations, like I would say that today most of us don't do the investigations very well. We don't do our investigations very well. And because, like what our sister said, in the olden days, our mothers or our parents will help us to do these investigations. In our modern times too, one way we can do this investigation is that when you find someone in your church or in your area, you can let an elderly person help you. You can tell the person, I've seen a lady and I'm interested in the person. Can you try and get some background information for me without the lady knowing that you are doing this background information? Well, when the lady find out that, or the gentleman find out that you are doing some investigations about her or him, he may try to cover up certain things. So I think we can let other people help us in the investigation. And one thing that do not actually help us in the investigation is that we do usually do certain things we are not supposed to do in dating. So those things blind us in investigations. Some ended to premarital sex, so they don't even get the time or the sense to do the right investigation. And when all these things happen, we don't get the right foundation for our relationship or marriage. Then back to the question you asked, why will a lady do this or play a trick on a guy? I will say that it could be out of desperation. It could be out of desperation. In desperation in the sense that, you see, most ladies in their golden age might not get someone to propose to her. So maybe age is catching up with her. And because age is catching up with her, she must try as much as possible to get someone to date and to marry. And now that she has found someone, she will try and do everything possible to keep this person. And that will bring about that life. She can cover up certain bad things, of which she thinks when the man sees, the man may leave her or may dump her. It can also be out of love. Maybe she loves the guy so much that she thinks she cannot leave the guy or she cannot let go the guy. So let me cover up certain things so that I can hold this guy for myself. Then after marriage, I can let her know everything. But we cannot use deceit or dishonesty in marriage. It cannot be the basis, because it will bring the whole foundation of marriage. It can weaken the whole foundation. That will bring the marriage down in future. So that is my take on that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Danso, for that. We'll have to go for a quick break. When we come back, we'll look at what will she do, or if indeed she can't conceive kids, what will be the way forward. Also, we'll look at lies and deceit in relationships, if it can ever succeed. And then we will try to find out how this woman can convince her husband to stay with her. Do not go anywhere. This is Real Talk. We'll be right back after the break.
Dairy-free coconut milk. Cocoa Dairy-free coconut milk is a fully plant-based milk, non-curdling in tea or coffee, and it's a lovely treat with any breakfast beverage or meal. It contains calcium and vitamin D2 for strong teeth and bones, and vitamin B12 to help boost your blood for vitality. Cocoa is 100% vegetarian and is approved by the Vegetarian Society of UK. It's also lactose and dairy-free, which is good even for people with lactose intolerance. Cocoa, get one today. Cocoa Dairy-free coconut milk. Nature's health at your doorstep. For bulk purchases, contact 027-444-0180. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA. Cocoa Dairy-free coconut milk.
All SIM cards in Ghana must be registered again with only the Ghana card. Yes, only the Ghana card.
You will not be able to make voice calls, use mobile money services, internet, and all other services linked to your SIM card if you don't.
To register, dial *404# and follow the prompts. You will be required to send the following details on your Ghana card: Ghana card number, surname, first name, date of birth, and sex.
You will then receive a special code which you will present to your nearest service provider agent or customer care center for your biometric details to be captured. Remember to add your digital address.
Dial *404# on your phone to start registering your SIM card today.
For more information, contact your service provider on 100 or the National Communications Authority on toll-free number 0800 110622. Register your SIM card to stay connected.
Hope Channel Ghana has come to stay with Seventh-day Adventist Church and all the Ghanaian communities. As has been indicated, many people are benefiting from Hope Channel Ghana. We can't leave it. No, we need to move forward and make sure the three angels message of our God that has been entrusted to Seventh-day Adventist Church can fly to the glory of God. A very effective wing and a very effective vehicle that will help us to proclaim this wonderful message. Hope Channel is one of them. And we are very happy to the Almighty God for what He has done for us in these recent years.
Hope Channel Ghana, we are here to set the captives free, to communicate a refreshing God to a thirsty generation. Christian TV like you have never experienced. Help Hope Channel share God's good news to change lives by donating generously during the Hope Channel Offering Day on 9th April 2022 in all Seventh-day Adventist churches in Northern Ghana Union. Donate now.
God loves a cheerful giver. God bless you.
We are still in the studios of Hope TV Ghana, coming your way with Real Talk. Today I've been having a great conversation with Celestina, with Samuel, and with Danso, who are joining me virtually. Celestina is in the studio with me, and we've been looking at a story sent us by a gentleman who is heartbroken. So he's been with his wife for maybe a little up to a year, and he says he's found out that his wife has kids, 2 kids in the village with her mother, and he had no idea of this. He thought they were his wife's cousins, little cousins, and now he's found out, and upon his investigations he also realized that maybe she cannot conceive because she went through some complications with the last child that the wife had. And after finding out, this lady or his wife has been begging, asking for forgiveness, but his problem is he cannot believe she ever did this to him, and he thinks she's a wicked person, and he doesn't want to be with her anymore. He doesn't think she can have kids, which is something that he truly wants. And the whole thing is very dicey and very disturbing because she's begging and crying. He's saying, I don't think I can do this. And we are trying to find out how best we can help these couple. But before I come to Celestina with my question on if lies and deceit in a relationship can ever make the relationship succeed, or a relationship built on lies and deceit, can it ever succeed? Is there a loophole around it? But before I speak to Celestina on that, I'd like to remind you guys that for 2 years now, Hope Channel Ghana has been dreaming of owning an outside broadcast van to aid in productions. We have saved the offerings we received from you wonderful audience out there for the past 2 years, coming up to a total of a little over 200,000 Ghana cedi. And we believe that this is the year God will use all of us to make this dream a reality. We are targeting 400,000 Ghana cedi, so we are halfway through. And we are saying that let's all come together and donate generously so we can purchase the OB van in our aid to communicate a refreshing God to a thirsty generation. 9th April 2022. 9th April 2022 is Hope Channel Offering Day in all Seventh-day Adventist churches in the Northern Ghana Union. Help us share God's word. Help us share God's good news to change lives by donating generously during the offering day. Don't forget, it is 9th April 2022 in all churches in the Northern Ghana Union. Hope Channel Offering Day. God richly bless you. So Celestina, you see, like I was saying, this marriage started on lies. It was built on lies. Do you think it can ever succeed?
Okay, just like I said initially, once there is no trust in a marriage, even in a relationship, when there is no trust, I doubt it can succeed, you know, because whenever the lady says this, the guy will be thinking, what is she hiding again from me? And if you don't trust somebody, it will be very difficult to even have a conversation with the person, because you might think whatever the person is saying, is it even true?
Right.
Is it even true? It might be all lies. Meanwhile, maybe the lady has even changed. Maybe she doesn't have any skeletons in her cupboard again.
Right.
But it will be very difficult for the guy to trust her again. So marriage or relationship, even friendship, that started on deceit and lies, I doubt it can.
It
can work out.
Let's look at the issue of conception or having babies. So the man is saying that he found out that she can't have babies because she may not be able to have babies because of complications that she went through. And she's also refusing the examination to see if indeed she can have kids or not. Okay. So that is another red flag. Because if indeed you can, let's go to the hospital. Like, why are you hiding? And he's saying that he wants kids. Do you think that even when the man is willing to forgive, knowing that he wants kids, let's say he finds out that indeed she can't have kids, can they continue with this marriage? The fact that he wants his own kids, or are we going to say, oh, you can be with her, you know, take the other kids as yours and take care of them, and God is the giver of children, you know, what we usually say in the church. What do you, like, how do we navigate that situation?
Okay, at this point, the lady has no option. It's either she follows the guy to the hospital for a checkup, a proper checkup, or she loses her marriage. Because initially you've lied to me, I married you not knowing you had kids, and then now I want kids of my own, and then this is the complication you had when you were having your second child. Okay, I'm willing to forgive you. Let's go to the hospital to do a thorough checkup and find out if the complications didn't affect any part of your reproduction system. And you are telling me no. Then it means you are not interested in the marriage in the first place. Secondly, it means you are not sorry for what you did. The tears you are shedding are just crocodile tears. You are not sorry. So if indeed you are sorry, you are the person who even forced the guy to go to the hospital for a thorough checkup. If you can't conceive again, you'll be the one searching for solutions to that problem, not the guy, not the other way around. And then I think even couple who get married without all these complications, some of them don't have kids. So when it comes to this aspect, I think, like you said, you know, the only reason for a divorce is when you find out that your partner
has been unfaithful.
And these kids were brought about before the marriage. So it's a tough decision.
I know.
It's a very, very tough decision. But I won't opt for a divorce yet. Yeah, I won't opt for a divorce yet. But I think the lady has to follow the guy to the hospital for a checkup. And then if they find out that they can't conceive, if she still has her uterus intact, I think they can do those IVFs, IUI, and all those stuff.
Those other things.
And then if
there's the option of adoption.
Maybe there's an option of adoption. Maybe the guy can adopt the 2 kids.
I know. Let me just relieve you of this very loaded question and move on to. I'll move on to Samuel and then I'll ask him. Samuel, like I asked Celestina, a relationship built on deceit, can it ever succeed in any way? And the issue of conception when it comes here, the woman is still being shady by not saying, oh, I'll go to the hospital. All she's doing is bringing in people to beg. Do you think can that be solved if he finds out, okay, let's say her uterus, her reproductive system is completely ruined, she can't have kids. Is that also another solid ground for him to say, okay, you know what, I thought I could do this and I can't do it anymore? Or you think there's a way around it? Because some people are saying that, she already has kids. He wants his kids and you're going to make him miss out on that. But you're already married. And we know what the Bible says about marriage. What is your take on that?
Yeah, this situation is very dicey, as we mentioned. For the first part, marriage needs to be built on trust, as was mentioned, and truth. You know, if you are lying or you're bringing deceit into it, at some point you started off right at the very beginning with you tell one lie, you have to tell a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth. It doesn't stop. So if you do that for marriage, then that's the marriage that you're building for yourself. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can.
Okay. So that's the marriage that you're building for yourself, is one that is going to be based on lies and deception. So, you know, if you're starting a relationship or even a friendship, it needs to be founded on truth. It needs to be founded on honesty, because if not, then it's going to fail. It's going to crumble. when it comes, one thing that I think the Bible tells us that, Jesus looks at the church as his bride, but what makes it beautiful is that he sees the flaws of humanity, he sees the flaws of people, and he chooses to love us anyway, and he wants to save us anyway. And I think that's the best situation or the best scenario for anyone, in this situation where maybe you've had the 2 children beforehand. It's better to find someone who meets you, gets to know you, appreciates and loves you for who you are, and is willing to accept your 2 children versus lying and hiding that because, now maybe you found someone, but now, again, the trust is broken. He's probably doubting if he still loves you and all of these things because you didn't go about it the right way. So I think that's very crucial when it comes to honesty and being truthful.
Right.
Regarding the children, again, this is another thing that if you're truthful and honest in the beginning, right? Let's say you were honest and you said that you had complications, you're not sure. Maybe you were able to find someone who understands and accepts that. But because you lied about it, now you're in a situation where if the man really wants children, you've taken that option from him and you knew about it. This is the difference. If you enter into a marriage and you and your wife are unable to conceive, that's something that you weren't aware of beforehand. But she knew that there was this complication and she chose intentionally to hide that from him, the same way she chose to hide the children from him. So there's a lot of deception, and going into this marriage, she took a lot of things that the man should have known, and she didn't give him the opportunity to know that. And he made his choice to marry her based on the knowledge that he had. So it puts the man in a very difficult situation where, is this marriage, are the vows that he made to this woman, is this the same woman that he made the vows to? Because all of these things that she knew beforehand, she kept them from him. So, it requires a lot of prayer and reflection, but it's not an easy subject. It's not something that you just quickly make a decision. You need to take your time and make sure that you can go through the necessary prayer, fasting, go to the hospital, get your checkups, all of that, so that at the end he can make an informed decision if he's able to continue in the marriage.
Thank you so much, Samuel. Danso, the ball is in your court for this one. How are you going to spin this one around, with regards to the conception that now she's not sure, she's refusing to go for examination, and also marriage built on lies and deceit? Because if you're going to be very biblical, the exception to the rule is cheating or committing adultery. And in the space of the marriage, we can say she hasn't, because she had the kids before. So it's the deceit and the lies. So then we don't know if that is grounds for leaving her, So does that mean that because they can't divorce, they can build it to succeed? All these questions are still unanswered. What is your take on that? I don't know if you can hear me. Oh, I think your network is catchy. I'll try and catch up with you at some point, but Celestina, I've been thinking about this story and I've been trying to come up with ways that we can help this lady. But another point too is her parents, they didn't try.
Not at all.
Sometimes parents should hold their kids to a higher standard. This man doesn't know she has kids. You have the kids with you. I'm sure when they came for the traditional marriage, they can just lie, and you saw this, and it was so terrible. But can this lady ever convince her husband to forgive her, for them to try again on a clean slate?
Okay, with this, I think the lady has a little to do concerning trying to convince the husband. It's all in the hands of the husband, whether he's ready to forgive the lady, and then not as in forgive her and then then you bring it back. You lied to me. No, forgive her and then forget. If he's not ready to go through that, then I think the marriage is better off.
Dissolved or something.
Yeah, because you can't be with somebody you can't forgive, you can't trust. And then the lady, there's nothing she can do for the guy to accept her. It's only in the hands of the guy. If he is willing to accept, because if the lady tries, she might go overboard. And then it will get to a point, I would say, quote unquote, the lady will become a slave to the guy just because she wants to do something for the guy to know that she's sorry and all those stuff. So it all boils down to the guy having the heart to forgive the girl and then continue with the marriage. Forgive and forget, not just forgive, but forgive and forget, and then continue with the marriage.
I want you to speak a little on the girl's parents, the mother especially, and their contribution to this problem. Because they could have just solved, they could have come forth and said, oh.
I kind of feel like they have a proverb that says, "Akwala and send mommy or send papa," and then this woman, I don't know what to even tell her. Because how can you cover up this big lie? Even if your daughter wants to do that, you are an elderly person. You are supposed to talk her out of it.
Yeah.
My dear, just talk to the guy. And I feel like the lady was so much into the guy. Maybe the guy had some quote unquote, some specs the lady was expecting in a guy. And then maybe she saw all those things in the guy and she felt like, no, if I tell this guy I have not just a kid, but 2 kids, he might leave or like just leave me like that. And then maybe to the guy, when they were dating, maybe the guy was saying stuff about ladies who have kids before marriage. So she was like, oh, then these are not my kids, they are my cousins, you know. And you know, I think the woman didn't try at all. She should have at least told the lady to tell the husband, even before the marriage. Fine, in the relationship, you couldn't tell him. But when he decided that let's take this relationship further, like getting married, she should have told the guy that I have 2 kids. If the guy is still interested in you, love conquers everything. If he still loves you, he would go ahead with the marriage. If he doesn't, the right person who will love you and love your kids will come around. So I think the woman, the lady, her parents, all those around who knows about the kids and everything, and yes, still kept the guy in darkness, are very deceitful, they are very wicked, they are, I don't know the kind of words to use for them, but they didn't try. They didn't do well at all.
I completely agree. I completely agree. Samuel, I would ask, do you think this woman can ever do something that would convince her husband that she's incredibly sorry, she would never do this again, and you know, all the things she can do that will get her husband to start thinking of, okay, maybe I can forgive her, maybe I can make this work? And anything you can say about the lady's parents, especially her mother, who took her kids and acted as if they were her cousins, deceived the guy, did all they could to hide it from him until he went ahead to do the investigations himself?
Yeah, I'll start with the mother and the family, because one thing that I noticed was interesting is that, you know, it says that the kids are living with the mother-in-law. And also on top of that, he mentioned that, you know, the wife has asked other people, probably her family, to come and beg and plead with him.
Yeah.
So for the guy, he's sitting there thinking, you are the same people who were part of this deception. You're taking care of the children. You knew that the children is there, and you all lied to me, all of you.
Yeah.
But now you're all coming to, you know, plead and beg me. So it's very, you know, as it was mentioned, for someone who is, you know, older and more experienced, you should be giving good advice to your children. The amount of deception that is happening here, you know, it's one thing for one person to come up with it, but for other people to contribute to it, such a big lie as this one is unfathomable, and it shouldn't be that way. You know, sometimes we can all fall, we can all make mistakes, but you need people around you to help you to correct yourself when you're maybe even thinking of doing the wrong thing. And the mother and the family did not help in this situation at all. As far as the lady, the wife, there's nothing that she can do at this point. You know, she cooking extra food, wearing some certain clothing. Nothing that you can do can take away the fact that you lied to me for 4 years. You know, you allowed me to go through this process, and 1 kid, 2 kids, the pregnancy issues. now the man has to ask himself, what else has she hidden from me?
Yeah.
You know, nothing that she can do. It's the man needs to take time, and as I mentioned, it shouldn't be a rushed decision. The Bible speaks harshly against divorce. We know that it is not something that God acknowledges. But when it comes to, you know, divorce and annulment are two different things, because one of the things, you know, there's civil and there's the divine aspect of it. For example, if I was married and I married a second wife, the vows that I'm giving to my second wife, are those legitimate when I know myself that I'm already married?
Yeah.
You know, now can that second marriage be annulled because of that deception, that misrepresentation? And it can. And, you know, I think the children aspect of it is, you know, can be considered in that manner, that all of these things that were hidden and weren't made known, weren't brought to the light, are those grounds for annulment of the marriage? You know, they may be. And for the man, I think he needs to take the time. You know, right now in the moment is very difficult, but take the time to reflect. And if he can find it within himself to forgive, that's always the best option. But I think Celestina mentioned, and I agree with her, if he feels like this is something that he cannot forgive and live peaceably with the woman moving forward, then it's not something to stay and ruin both of their lives and their relationship in this manner, because marriage can have eternal consequences. The person that you marry, the relationship that you have. So if it's something that, you know, you stay married, but then you don't talk to each other, you're bitter, you're angry at God, all of these things, it can hurt your walk towards heaven as well. So these are very serious things that he needs to sit down and think about and pray about and ask God to give him, you know, some guidance and some direction.
I completely agree with you, Samuel. I would like to take some comments before we go. This one is from Annette, who says, there is no problem beyond solving. The issue is not about the kids and her inability to conceive, but rather trust broken, because it would make a difference if he knew beforehand or just getting to know. Okay, she said it will make no difference if he knew beforehand or just getting to know. Question is, would he be able to trust her moving forward? Most definitely not. He can forgive her but may never trust her again. You should do what is best, because there are two outcomes: leave or inquire about the children's father and what relationship there is. If there is none, he can take them in, and it might even be the best decision he would have ever taken. Okay, so this one, I'm reading this one as well from Jennifer. Jennifer says, please let him know that Christianity frowns on infidelity and adultery, and it's on that premise the Bible says divorce can be granted, so he should proceed. Okay, so I don't think she what's it called? She committed adultery in this particular marriage, but you know, you never know. We should find out how old her last child is, to see if it happened within the space of their courtship. You can never tell. And then she continues to say, and that same Bible says, if you can forgive your wife on that, live with her, else divorce is your best choice. Okay, let me go on Facebook and see some of the comments that we are getting. So this one is from Paul Jr., who says, with this, I support your feelings to go. The Bible is clear, yet one thing must be understood. Date with a desire to investigate things. Passion in dating clouds the mind and makes people forget the essence of their dating period. Basically, I'm saying that this information could have been known back then had the man done a proper courtship. A critical moment, courtship, okay. Then Adepa says a critical moment, but this will determine the genuine love you have for her, though the decision is yours. Okay. Bonfo says, you Christians cry, why do you allow non-believers or non-Christians to laugh at us? Don't divorce her, please stay with her. Okay. Nana Asiedwa says, this one day, even God will understand if you divorce her. Okay. Becky Lish Batch says, only God can advise you, my brother. I am a woman, but this is beyond me. You see, the story is such that we can't even be clear what exactly to do. Efwa Sethina Arthur says, the parents of the lady, how can they do this to someone's innocent son? Shaking my head. Okay, so before we go, Celestina, your final words in a sentence, what would you tell the man? Okay,
I'll ask the man, just like my brother on Zoom said, he should take it into prayers. He should fast about it, and then I know God will answer his prayers. through that, and then he will make a right decision once he goes on his knees and then he asks God for solutions to that problem.
Right. Thank you so much. Samuel, in a sentence, your final words.
Yeah, I would say very similar. You know, marriage is not something to be taken lightly, and it's not a joke. And I think the woman in this story took marriage as something that was light because she thought that it was okay to lie about such major aspects of her life. For the man, definitely take the time to fast and pray and seek God's counsel, because he needs to come to a realization that, you know what, if he is able to forgive, if he has prayed and he finds that he can forgive and reconcile, but if he knows that that will not work, he needs to consider how his relationship with the woman can be moving forward, and allow God's Spirit to lead him, because, you know, we can give our opinions here, but, you know, I think prayer and fasting is the best way to hear from God in a situation such as this.
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you so much. I would just tell this gentleman that before you decide, you should also consider all these things. When you decide to forgive her, you have to forgive the deception, the lies. You have to forgive the fact that if she can't conceive, you would live with her. You would have to put into consideration the fact that you can't be bringing this up all the time, that you guys are unhappy or in a disagreement. There are so many things to consider before you decide on what to do. If you think after considering all these things, you can live with her in love and not, like someone said, bitterness and all that, maybe you can give her another shot. But remember that if you go do the examination and she can't have kids, you can't bring it up and say that, you know, all these things. Yes. But I can see that Dansu is in. Unfortunately, Dansu, our time is fast spent. I don't know what happened to you. So you have a minute to just wrap up on your final words for this couple.
Okay, Evi, like the conversation, all that I want to say is, we are all sinners. We are all sinners. This guy can find a place in his heart to forgive the lady. You see, in Matthew chapter 18, verse 21, the king forgive a servant who has sinned against him. So in that way, we need to forgive those who have sinned against us. And 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8 also says that love covers all sins. So he can try and forgive this lady because love covers all things. Although there has been a mistrust, there has been a break of trust, but he can still find a place in his heart to forgive this lady, so that God too can forgive him. Because he says we should forgive others their sins, so that he too can forgive us our sins. Right. So we should find a way to forgive this lady.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you all so much for coming, Celestina, Danso, Samuel. Thank you all for joining. It was a very difficult conversation, but I think we've tried our best to help in the best way possible. It's never an easy situation, you know. Thank you guys so much. I am so grateful for coming. Those of you at home, thank you so much. A special thanks to Sethina Ifwa Arthur. I always call her the virtual producer of Real Talk. Another special thanks to, I would say, one of the biggest fan of Real Talk, who is Mama Martha Asante. She's in Kwashiman. Thank you so much for always watching. I've been hearing that you watch all the time. You enjoy it so much. We are so glad we could bring you a show that you love so much. Our Wednesdays are never complete when we don't hear that you're watching. Thank you so much for that. And to all my audience at home, God richly bless you for tuning in. To the crew of Hope TV Ghana, thank you for your amazing work. Before we finally go, I would like to remind you again that for 2 years now, we have been dreaming of owning an outside broadcast van to aid in productions. We have saved the offerings we received from you for the past 2 years, totaling a little over 200,000 Ghana cedi. And we believe this is the year God will use us all to make this dream a reality. We are targeting 400,000 Ghana cedi. Let's all donate generously so we can purchase the OB van in our bid to communicate a refreshing God to a thirsty generation. 9th April 2022 is Hope Channel Offering Day in all Seventh-day Adventist churches in Northern Ghana Union. Help us share God's good news to change lives by donating generously during the offering day. Don't forget, it is 9th April 2022 in all churches in the Northern Ghana Union. Hope Channel Offering Day. God richly bless you. God bless you for staying. We'll be back same time next week. My name remains Evie, and do enjoy the rest of the content on Hope TV.